Hey, welcome back to the podcast. I have a few minutes before I have to go outside to get Anthony off the bus. So I am sitting down to quickly record this episode. I love to keep these episodes short, sweet, to the point. So that worked out just perfect. Today, I'm going to be sharing 5 small changes that you can make and implement to make a big impact on your life as a mama. But before I get into what those 5 tips are going to be, those 5 small changes, I want to ask you a question, ask you for some feedback. I opened applications this week for people to apply to be a guest here on the podcast. And of course, I have a list in my mind of ideal people that I would like to interview, I would like to hear more from. But I'm also curious to know if there are specific people that you would like to hear from. Or like to hear me interview, or if there is certain subjects that you would like to see covered. Also curious to know if you would be interested in hearing from some fellow moms just on their stories, like on the stories of their birth, maybe why they chose certain things or didn't choose certain things, in relation to like their pregnancy experience, their birth experience, and their postpartum experience. I know that I like to hear other people share their stories, but maybe that's just a me thing. I don't know. So let me know. I have some people in mind that I think will be up for it if that's something you're interested in. All right, let's get into these 5 small changes. So, change number one, tip number one. I don't know whether to call these changes or tips. We'll go with tips because that seems, these may not be a change for all of you that are listening. Anyway, tip number one is going to be to hydrate. That probably doesn't come as a surprise to any of you guys that would be like the number one thing I picked because I talk about hydration all the time. I'm talking about mineral drinks all the time, but I wanted to give you some like tangible things to help incorporate that into your day and make it more of a habit that you don't even have to think about. I want this to be like getting up and brushing your teeth before you leave the house in the morning. You don't even have to give it any brain space. So, the number one thing that I have found that helps me to drink more, no matter what it is that I'm drinking, is to do it out of a bottle that I love. I have found that personally, I like a straw cup, and that's probably going to lead me to some wrinkles down the line, but whatever, we'll deal with that then. That's just personally what I like. You find what your favorite cup is and use it. Start your day right away, guzzling 8 ounces or so of water. If you have time to get up and do like a warm lemon water beverage, that's great. It's great for hydration, it's great for detox, it's great for your liver. But if you're like, I don't have time for the warmness and the lemon aspect of that, it's okay. Just get your bottle of water, your filtered water, whatever, and down 8 ounces before you do anything else in the day. That's a pretty reasonably small amount of water to just chug and gets you started on the right foot. As I've shared this with you guys before, but I do want to take a second to point out like why hydration is so important in case not everyone knows, but like our body itself and our cells are primarily made up of water. And when we don't have enough, you can think of our cells as looking like little dried up uh, prunes or raisins. So that's why we need the hydration and need to be adequately hydrated in order to feel our best. Because if you can imagine all these little like scrunched up, dried up cells, when they're in that state, they can't function optimally. And that's what we need in order to feel our best. Okay, tip number two, get morning sunlight. This helps support your circadian rhythm, which leads to you having better sleep, which leads to you having more energy. I don't want this to feel like an overwhelming task, so I want you to remember that even small amounts of time can help and make an impact. So this can even look like 5 or 10 minutes. And what you can do if you're like, I just can't bring myself to go stand outside and do nothing for 5 to 10 minutes, pair it with something else that you do in the morning. Maybe it's when you're guzzling that 8 ounces of water. If you're a coffee drinker, I really urge you to have breakfast first, but to each their own. Um, Maybe you're having tea. Maybe you're going out there, and I always like visualize myself like on my front porch when I talk about doing this because that's where I go. So like maybe I would go out there and stretch, or do some yoga poses or something. You can also, especially this time of year, like right now when I'm recording this, it's January 17th, and today we're actually getting a little bit of warmth. It's in the 40s, but next week it's going to be like a negative bazillion wind chill. So I'm not big on going outside when it's that cold. Thought number one is that if you did do that, then you could skip a cold plunge later if that was your thing. I'm kind of joking. I don't know what the science is behind that. Um, I digress. What I was originally going to say is that even on the days when you don't feel like going outside, this is not going to give you the same effect as if you are outside and your eyeballs are literally on, like, I was going to say on the sun. I don't want you to look directly at the sun, but like there's no glass walls, drywall in between you and the sun is what I'm getting at. But when that's not an option, open up your blinds. Make that like the first thing that you do when you get out of the bed in the morning. Let the sunlight in your home. This will still help to a certain extent. All right, rolling right along. Tip number 3, prioritize rest to recharge your mind and your body. I am not going to just blanketly tell you to get more sleep because that is just, that's such basic advice. It's not that it's bad advice, but you guys knew that already. So when I was making my notes for this, I wanted to try to think about ways that you can incorporate other types of rest throughout your day. So I want to encourage you to take more breaks, especially if you're someone that works at a computer, and you're staring at screens all day. I'm so guilty of this, especially when I'm like knee deep in a project because it's just my type A personality. Like I want to sit there and work and work and work and work and work and not get up until I get it done. And that's great for productivity and for my employer, but it's not great for my body. We need rest, and we need breaks. So take your breaks. And there's, different things you can do while you're on your break. You could go and, I mean, if you work from home, you can lay down on your couch. If you are at a workplace, go to the break room. If you're at home, you do have a little more freedom with what you can do during this time. So you can do some stretching, you can do some yoga poses, you could do some deep breathing. And not that you can't do those things if you're at a workplace, it just kind of depends on where you are. And if you have your own office, you have an office where you can shut the door, or maybe you just don't care if your coworkers see you doing those things. Another one is to say no. Practice saying no. Say no to things that you don't actually want to do, that you're not actually like obligated to do. Like the world is not going to end if you don't do the thing and you don't want to do it anyway, but you're doing it and you're saying yes because you feel like you have to, or because you've always done it, or this like responsibility has fallen on your shoulders. If it's not really serving you, serving your family, lighting you up, if it's not something you enjoy, start saying no. I'm sorry, you're going to have to find someone else to do that thing. Somebody else is going to need to take on that responsibility. It's okay for you to say no. And I would guess that we all probably need to do a better job of saying no to things that we don't actually want to do. I was listening to a training the other day. It was Lindsay Chambers, and she was talking about business related things, but she was like, if it's not a fully embodied hell yes, then it's a no. And I want you to take that with you, and I want you to apply that as much as you can in your life. If it's not, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. And then you can, this goes along with sleep, but try to find what works for you in terms of a nightly wind down routine. What helps you chill out from your stressful day and get ready for bed? Tip number 4, move your body joyfully. Anything counts here. I was talking with a client today about micro workouts. She was sharing with me that she just like doesn't have enough time to work out. And she's not using that as an excuse. Like she legitimately right now, her life is chaos and busy and she doesn't have the time. And I was like, you know what? That's okay. We don't have to do a dedicated 30+ minute workout right now. We don't even have to do a dedicated 10+ minute workout right now. Find pockets of your day where for 5 minutes or less, you can do some type of movement. Maybe this looks like doing 10 squats every time you go to the toilet. Maybe while you're brushing your teeth, you're doing calf raises. Maybe every time you go to the bathroom when you're at work, you take an extra lap on your way back to your office to get some extra steps in. While you're cooking in the kitchen, maybe you're, like taking the gallon of milk and you're doing some type of arm exercise. I don't know. Be creative. Like fit it in where you can. If you're playing with your kids and you've got babies, especially or little toddlers, hold them and do squats while you're holding them. Guess what? They're your weight. Do exercises with them. My kids have recently really, really loved. I shared this on my Instagram stories the other day. They have loved, I wish I could, Cosmic Kids Yoga on YouTube. It's all free. It's designed for kids, but I do it with them sometimes. Me and Kinley love to do it together. And it's not just like this easy breezy thing. Like I did it the other day. And I mean, I'll granted, I'm a little, I just had a baby 5 months ago. Okay. I'm a little out of shape. I haven't been diligent about like my stretching and mobility like I want to be. Um, but it was like a challenge for me to do some of the poses because I hadn't done them in so long. So you can definitely like gain strength and flexibility and things from those little micro moments. So take advantage of them. And then the other thing is to one of the things I'm focused on in 2025 is incorporating more fun into my life. And when I think about that and I think about what I mean when I say that, I think about like engaging in play with my kids as one thing. So, like when I take them to the park, actually also swinging on the swings, climbing on the playground equipment, going down the slide. If I'm just at home with them, turning on some music and dancing. My kids love to dance and listen to music. And I did some somatic work a while back, like probably a year and a half ago now. And the one of the goals of somatic therapy and somatic work, I mean, is to like get you more in tune with your body. And some somatic programs like guide you through these things and they'll be like, okay, now move your arms, however, like whatever way feels intuitive to you and feels good to you. And after I was doing that, I was observing my kids dance and I thought, they're so good at this. Like kids just will move their body. They don't care if they're on the beat. They don't care if they look ridiculous. They're just moving. Like they are just moving to move and they're just having so much fun. And we need to embrace a little more of that as adults. So yeah, have a dance party with your kids. Okay, tip number 5. Practice gratitude to increase your well-being, to improve your well-being. So, something that I love to do when we are on a trip, and particularly when we're coming home from a trip, I will ask my husband almost always, and sometimes he looks at me like I'm so crazy, he's like, "Why do you keep asking me this?" But I'm like, "What was your favorite part of the trip? What was your favorite thing that we did? What was your favorite meal that we had? What was your favorite moment with the kids?" Like, and I think that we really can take that type of conversation into our daily life. So, if you're a single person and you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, well, I don't have anybody to talk to about that stuff, it's okay. Journal about it, write it down, talk to yourself about it in your mind, put it in the notes app on your phone. If you get the opportunity to practice, like start practicing this with your kids at dinner, we love to have a family meal. We do family meals where we all sit down at the table together. I know not everybody does that. I encourage you to do it because it's really special time as a family and with your kids. But anyway, there's actually a Bluey episode. And in the Bluey episode, they're sharing funny things from their day and they're trying to like make each other all laugh. And I think kind of see like who has the funniest story from the day. And my kids will joke around and like imitate the episode sometimes when we are at the dinner table. But even with my kids being the ages they are, they're 8 and younger, it's a good practice for them to get into just, like increasing and supporting our communication as they do age and get older. For me to like ask them, um, what did you do today? What was your favorite part about today? What did you love about today? And then I also think about at the end of the day, Blake and I spend time together one on one before we go to bed. And um, but sometimes we talk about random things. Sometimes we have this game right now that we're playing where we're like drawing these question cards out of a box that I bought for us for Christmas. And we're like both taking turns answering the questions. And a couple nights ago, one of them was like, what are you most grateful for right now? And you could even break that down into a more micro level and be like, what were you most grateful for today? Or what did you enjoy the most today? What brought you joy today? Like, okay, for perfect example, I'm also trying to be more mindful of like looking for things throughout my day that bring me joy this year. So I signed on for work this morning and I needed to get up and go get a drink, get my pump and stuff so that I could get all that going. And I walked to the kitchen and I am like not low key obsessed with the wildlife that we have around the house here. If you watch my Instagram stories, especially in the summer, you're going to see multiple pictures of like frogs and turkey and different things. I love to watch all the animals. And so this morning, as I was walking out of the kitchen to come back to my office, I looked up and there were 5 deer in the field, and like there's still some snow out there, and it was really early this morning, so it was still frosty, and the sun was just coming up, and it was just like, it was hitting just right in the field, and it was just so pretty. And I took a moment, even though I was like needing to get back to my desk. I was like, no, I'm just gonna stay in here for a second, and I'm gonna watch them, and I'm gonna like enjoy it. And that brought me joy today, brought a smile to my face. I came back in here to my office, I sat down, and I sent a message to my coworkers, and I was like, I just saw these cute little, 5 deers, and it brought me joy and it made me smile. And they loved that I shared that. So yeah, that's my 5 tips. I'm gonna quickly, like super quickly recap. So tip number one was hydrate. Tip number two, get more morning sunlight. That's a mouthful. Number three, prioritize rest, and that doesn't just mean sleep. Tip number four, move your body joyfully. And number five, practice more gratitude to improve your overall well-being. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope that gives you not just like the blanketed advice that I think is, somewhat common and well known, but I hope it gives you some tangible things to take away to actually help you implement this. So I'm going to leave you there and we'll talk next week.